Psalm 90 and verse 11 is about the fury of God unleashed. Verse 11 of 90 reads, "Who understands the power of your anger and your fury according to the fear that is due you?" For 40 years Moses saw the judgment of an angry God inflicted as men were dying all around him. He was overwhelmed at the terrible results of God's divine displeasure. Who had the strength to weather the power of the Lord's wrath? Jonathan Edwards preached one of the most profound sermons among the New Testament scholars titled, "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God." The context was that of it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. The Word of God does not use hyperbole whenever it speaks of God's wrath against sin, for that is not a subject that lends itself to exaggeration. Addressing the power and finality of God's anger that will be carried out in the lake of fire, no one can even begin to imagine the turmoil that will take place during the tribulation when his fury is no longer restrained against those who do not fear him. We talk about tribulation ever so casually, but its horrific reality cannot be truly conceived by the human minds. The treasury of David writes, "Remember Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember Korah and his company. Mark well the graves of lust in the wilderness. Nay, rather think ye of the place where the worm dieth not, and their fire is not quenched." We will all submit ourselves as dying sinners to this eternal God, who has the power at the moment of our death to command us to dust and thence into the lake of fire if we have not enlisted Jesus as our advocate before the Father. Reading from Revelation 21:8. "But the cowards, unbelievers, vile, murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their share will be in a lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death."